At the beginning of my college career, I didn't know what major I wanted to be. I hardly knew what school I wanted to go to or what classes I wanted to take. But I did know that I wanted to study abroad. Studies report that studying abroad is enormously beneficial to students in a variety of ways, including growing as a student as well as growing as an individual. Despite the overwhelming evidence supporting study abroad, many students' schedules fill up and study abroad simply becomes a missed opportunity. In the fall of my senior year, I was about to become one of those students, until my advisor approached me about going to Ecuador for 3 weeks. I couldn't help it. I had to say yes.
Originally, the Ecuador trip was recommended to me by Professor Osment. She made it sound really exciting, really great.
My friend Erin kind of told me about the trip and she was talking about it and she's like, oh, you need to go, and I was like, oh, maybe I do.
My wife worked for the Centers for Indo-American Studies many years ago, and so I had a connection with them. I knew Ecuador reasonably well. I knew that they would do a good job with hosting us, and I knew there was a lot of opportunities for different types of courses, so I developed a program that would enable a variety of different courses and a variety of different faculty to be able to take students there.
To be honest, I didn't really know that much about Ecuador, and I wasn't alone.
I didn't really think about much other than I thought it was like a poorer country.
I definitely thought that it was going to be more like poor. I had no idea that it was going to be more like a normal city.
I mean, really, honestly, when we were there, it didn't seem too poor as we thought it was going to be.
Big assumption shattered after I got there.
In our orientation meetings, our professors told us about the people, customs, and culture of Ecuador. They even told us about the weather. But nothing could really prepare us. We just had to experience it for ourselves.
I can't believe I'm going to Ecuador. This is weird. This is, I'm going to not be home for 3 weeks. This is going to be the longest 3 weeks of my life, or it's going to be the fastest 3 weeks of my life.
Ecuador is a small Latin American country on the Pacific coast. It borders Peru, Colombia, and Venezuela. The country is often described as the perfect sampling of Latin America because it has the taste of the Amazon jungles, the arid Andes, and the live-life attitude of the coast. Because of the diversity in geography, the country is also home to many different people groups and cultures. For our 3 weeks, we experienced the culture of the Andean region.
Well, I'm a student athlete. I played football for 4 years, and I like traveling. And during the season, stuff like that, I really never had the opportunity to travel with my schedule in the season. So I actually had Professor Jennings in a class, and he mentioned it one day, and I thought about it, and I asked my parents for the funding, and they said, yeah, no problem, and there I went.
We just got off our first plane ride, and it felt kind of long, but it was fun. I read a lot. My book that I had to. I guess right now I'm just excited to get there and be in Ecuador, be in another culture and start experiencing that.
We didn't know each other, and I know for myself, I'm not going to say anybody else, but for myself, I was, when I first saw everybody, I was like a little judgy, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like these people. I was like, I don't know how I feel about them.
So it's really interesting because we have a couple of meetings here on campus before we go, and students are friendly to each other, but they're still sort of segregated or segmented in the meetings. They're not necessarily really open to each other. They're sort of sticking with their friends. They're cautious and awkward and a little bit timid.
The only one I knew very well, not even very well, was Lynn. Lynn and I spent a lot of time together because we were in the same Spanish class. She was really one of the only ones I knew more than an acquaintance.
I remember our first meeting, I was like, who the hell are all of these people? I remember looking around going, oh crap, I'm going to be the loner of this group because I don't know anybody. We got on that plane and everybody was like, hey, you're going to be my best friend.
This is the bridge I was talking about. This is it. Ah, look at this. Are we sharing the bus?
then I don't. When we first got there and we got to Hotel Quito, I was really nervous, but then we started going on our excursions in Hotel Quito, and I was like, this is so much fun. I love this. This is great.
I can't believe how mountainous it is. I think this may be my first time seeing actual real mountains, not like our Appalachians, which are glorified hills.
And then they had a pool, and they had a sauna, and they had a hot tub, and they had a gym, so I still got to run, and that was like, it was like living in paradise.
What's the best part about breakfast so far?
Arepa.
What is that?
It's like a corn cake.
Corn cake?
This orange juice is
Oh.
good.
Queso.
All the options?
Queso.
Queso.
Queso. Wait, what is that?
Cheese.
The cheese?
Yeah.
Learning new things. Thank you guys.
And we were in like such warm weather, and back home it was like 30 degrees and people were shoving their cars out of snow. And so
Ecuador so far is very warm, like literally, and also the people seem very warm. Everyone is, oh, welcome to Ecuador. Please enjoy the country. Everyone we were interacting with seemed really warm, including Itzi, our coordinator from the organization we were traveling with. The group really bonded with her.
We had Itzi, who we loved, and would have fun with us and go to dinner with us all the time and talk about everything.
We also met with David, a native Ecuadorian, who would be our tour guide for our stay in Quito, Ecuador's capital.
Midnight, that rooster come to life, and he will pick you up to hell. So therefore, no drunk people come to midnight to this area. Maybe the legend is true, okay?
One of the first things we did was try to climb the basilica in Quito. It was terrifying, but it was a great way to break us in because it made us step right outside of our comfort zone.
Is going to hike to the top?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hike to the top.
Hike to the way top? Way top. Are you going to the top?
Yes.
Cool. Are you?
Yes.
Sweet.
The view was worth it, but the sketchy steps to the next part made us all think twice about continuing.
Where the condors are.
Are you kidding me? It's going to be worth it, but I don't know if I want to take this camera up.
Guys, you're never gonna be back. Just do it.
That's true.
You want to put it in a backpack or something?
I don't know if anyone else would feel comfortable carrying it either.
I'm worried about getting down.
Yeah, same.
I feel like
I'm worried about getting down.
But it's stairs. It's stairs. It's not like this. You know.
Wait, do you not feel comfortable carrying your camera?
No, I didn't. I was traveling with a borrowed camera, so I made it to the top of the basilica, but without my camera. I had to get comfortable using this thing.
Are you officially glad that you went up?
Yes. It was very
How was
pretty.
it?
It was a little intimidating, but it was pretty, and I'm glad that I made myself do it.
In Quito, we were also given our first opportunity to order food in Spanish.
So, how was lunch?
It was actually really good.
What did you get?
Chicken and rice and like this like potato salad type thing, I guess.
So you don't speak Spanish. Did you order your own food?
I had Lynn and Anthony help me a little bit. Got like Ecuadorian version of the Chinese food.
Yes.
We were actually looking for Ecuadorian food, but because it's our first day, our stomachs would be used to the kind of spices and everything else that are in it.
But like when I ordered, they started asking me like questions about it and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I don't like didn't know what to say, so I was just like, me no say, and I didn't know
And then they started asking me questions about, I still don't know what they asked me. But yeah, I looked over at Lynn and I was like, and so Lynn goes, see. And yeah, I got my food.
Thinking I knew what I was going to say and that it was going to be easy. And then like I got so many questions and I was just like, I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna just say C and nod my head.
But you made it through.
Yeah, I survived and it was excellent. Oh yeah.
Our guide, David, said that it was his job to spoil us, which meant that we got to see the presidential palace. I was shocked at how close the people could get to the palace. I imagine that it makes them feel very connected.
I had known about Correa a little bit, and I had known that, he was just coming into office with not as much experience. And of course, in history, we learn a lot about the political instability that's in South America. I was quite surprised to see how, stable Correa's political platform seems to be. And while I do discuss with the host families, and many of them don't appear to necessarily agree with everything that he does, there's no direct animosity towards him. And I think for Ecuador, that's a major victory.
And this is the center of the Earth. We are standing on the equator, latitude, longitude 0000, a billion zeros.
I don't know.
I just want you. I love you. Mine.
Can I hold the glove? So it is. Look at what you started. Let's do it like, or at least think break it down. Can you break it down like even
We visited a radio station in the morning, which began our process of learning about the media in Ecuador.
So when we got there, he had us all go up to the top floor, and then he just briefly explained what his title was. He was the actual director of everything that kind of went on at the radio station. And then he just gave us tours of different rooms, like the one it was for a news program that they were talking about hot button issues and stuff like that. So there were 5 guys that were seated around the table just discussing. The one guy had an iPad. And I asked Professor Rakes how it compared to United States, how they produced the radio there, and she said honestly a lot of the stuff they had was up to date with what we have in America. So I was actually really surprised to hear that.
Having been oriented in Quito, the group was feeling more at ease. The first scare was over. Now for the next challenge.